Yeah, so as you know, you commented the other about weeks some time ago that the parking situation on Ashdown Avenue has got progressively worse ever since, well, more so since Rose's passing. So that would be, it's got worse since late 2022. And the last few times prior to, well, not the last two times, but before that, when I tried to go down your street, it's that little bit where it widens up a little bit, you know, near the barricade, which, because your road has been, well, it's like the Berlin Wall in a way, without the wall. So they've done that to make it like not become a rat run. So you've got that stone and grass barricade which shuts off the road. It kind of splits Ashdown Avenue in two for cars, and they widen it to make like a car parking area. But as you know, the street itself is not that wide, and a lot of people park half and half. A lot of people have had their front gardens converted into so where they can park the car. But obviously, the great expense of having the curb lowered was a factor why you never got yours done when Rosie had a mobility car, the last one being the electric one. But yeah, the last two times, oh, I've had to reverse back all the way. So that's why the official drop-off and collection point will be where I picked up yesterday, Saturday, November the 22nd, and where I dropped you off today, after we had our post-flesh nosh at Badger and Bean Cafe in Howden, dog-friendly cafe. Basically next door to Howden Minster. Well, the arse end of Howden Minster. So, unless you on a day which obviously the next planned one is now the 6 week gap, will be just after the new year. I believe January the 3rd. It's in the group, in the events, including some including some pre-shot noshes, and obviously it comes part and parcel of part of the flesh, the pre-flesh nosh and the flesh. The post-flesh nosh being at Badger and Bean at Howden. Fucking hell. Listen to that bastard rain. Mind you, I suppose it makes up what Yorkshire Wars have been pissing out of leaky pipes to fill up the reservoirs. You know, because you're not Yorkshire Wars, so you're the East Anglia or something. Yeah. So I'm going to back shortly. So that concludes the P&J announcement about the pick-up and drop-off points for future pre-shot noshers and pre-flesh noshers and the flesh, because it's a ball ache having to reverse all the way back from the little, what I call the car park area, where Ashdown Avenue is for cars is split in two because of that stone and grass barricade. I'm guessing to stop it being, like I said, stop it becoming a rat run. But why only Ashdown Avenue? I mean, the street after it, as far as I know, doesn't have a rat run, a barricade. Man, I don't know if that goes all the way through though. Yeah, it's strange. Anyway, check out the events. Don't forget, it is now the 6-to-4 ratio, which is basically 4-week gap, then a 6-week gap, 4-week gap, then a 6-week gap. However, like I said, should there be something in the way, we can easily change it. So like if it's a 4-week gap, you can't do the one at 4-week. I can change it to a 6-week. if it's a 6 week gap and you can't make the one at 6 week, then we can either go bring it down to 4 weeks, so it'll go 4-4 rather than 4-6. If you can't do the 4 or the 6, we can make it 8 week. So, for example, that will go from, say, first week in January to mid-January, or it will go to before Christmas. So, I mean, that's just an example. So we've got, a bit of room to manoeuvre. Should suddenly, I can't do that Saturday, I can do that either 2 weeks before, or I could do 2 weeks after. Well, we can't do 2 weeks before if it's a 4 week gap, because that's too soon. But if it's like a 4 week gap, we can make it 6 weeks. If it's 6 week gap, we can make it 4 week or 8 week gap. And then all the others will be adjusted accordingly. Because they'll have to try and get the 6-4. We're trying to get the 6-4 ratio back on an even keel. So, yeah. I mean, I know I tried to do it every 4 weeks, remember? Then I thought every 6 weeks. But the 6-4 ratio, should it go uninterrupted for a period of time, if you kind of even it out, it works out on average a 5 week gap, I think. Yeah, it works out about a 5 week gap. All it isn't, it's 4 week gap, then a 6 week gap, 4 week gap, then a 6 week gap, and repeat. But if you average it out, it works out to 5 weeks apiece. So that's kind of a compromise between every 4 weeks or just every 6 weeks. But like I say, so what you need to do is you need to look at the planned events, and if you can work out if it's a 4 week gap or 6 week gap, then you can go, well, I can't do the 4 week gap, but I can do 6 week, as I said before. And then I can adjust all the events in the group, because sometimes they get confused. Sometimes, like I said the other week, when I realised that the event for February and the event for March were on the wrong weekends. However, it works out that when I made the adjustment so it was correct, it works out we've got 2 events in January. Like I said before, one right at the very beginning, well, not quite, but the third, and one right at the very end. But it is 4 weeks between the one on the 3rd and one on the 31st. That is exactly 4 week gap. And then the next one is in March. Mid-March. Yeah. So it's like one on January the 3rd, one on January the 31st, the next one is like mid-March. So it's like the one from now to January is 6 weeks, the one beginning of January to end of January is 4 weeks, and then the one in mid-March is 6 weeks. So that's a 6-4 ratio. Okay, but if you work it out, it's roughly 5 weeks. Although it isn't, it's, Anyway, I'm off for a much needed shite and a bath. And catch us. I'll upload these into the group. Yet again, another successful flesh and a longer than planned FIFA session with our discovery of Volta football, the street football.